Welcome back to In the Slant. NFL Week 9 is officially in the books. Dustin, how are we feeling after Week 9, man?
Down bad.
I mean, me too. It's just NFL this season has been terrible between fantasy and my commies, the Raiders. We are still, unfortunately.
Well, okay, don't say fantasy for me. My fantasy.
Yo, your fantasy's going good. That's good for you, not for me. I'm 4-5 right now. We are unfortunately still without Jared. If he does pop in, he might. I don't know what's going on totally. I know he's sick, but haven't got an affirmative on him whether or not he's coming. But if he pops in, he pops in. If not, it's just Dustin and I today locking it down. Before we go any further, make sure you drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. As always, greatly appreciated. But of course, like usual, today we're recapping the games from Week 9. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, we had the Eagles versus the Texans. It's in Houston. No Brandon Cooks for this game because he was supposed to be traded and they didn't trade him. Sounded like he was still a little upset with them. The Eagles do beat them 29-17, but at one point,
it was a close game.
It was a close game.
At first, I was like, because it wasn't Houston. They might have been up at one point.
It was. I think it was tied at half. Honestly.
Oh yeah, tied. Yeah, it was tied at half, and then the Eagles just finally decided to turn up and do what they did and they shut them down. So, I mean, at one point I was like, if the Eagles really lose their undefeated record to the Texans
on Amazon Prime Time,
yeah, you'd be down bad at that
Pierce
point.
was running. David Pierce was running.
He was going off.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
But the turning point is when Davis Mills threw an interception, and then the Eagles got like good field position. It was just kind of away from there. So. For a second, it looked like the Texans might pull off a miracle, but obviously they came down to earth after halftime.
Yeah.
So. Shout out to the Texans, though, for putting up a fight, man.
I mean, it was a better game than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
I mean, like I said, they gave us a better game. I mean, we dealt with commies, Bears, before the Bears were playing good, so Colts, Broncos. So shout out to the Texans for at least giving us a good game. The Eagles improved to 8-0, but their win streak's coming to an end Week 9, or Week 10. So, no, I'm just kidding. But Chargers versus Falcons was our next game. Obviously, first noon game. Cordell Patterson did, in fact, return from IR. I thought that he could have, and I said that he could have, and he did. I think he had 2 touchdowns as well. Eckler got it done. The Chargers came in short-handed, and yeah, like I said, the Chargers got it done. It was 20-17. At one point, Eckler fumbled the football. Did you see this play? It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Eckler fumbles the football, and the defensive lineman picks it up, starts returning it, and then nobody touches him. He just drops the football, fumbles it right back, and the Chargers recovered again. So. I mean,
I did not see that.
Yeah, no. I mean, this wasn't a game that neither of us watched, obviously. I just kind of was, going off the notes that I read down. But yeah, Cordell Patterson had a great game. I know Kyle Pitts, fantasy owners, he was overthrown for a 70-yard touchdown, which could have loved that, obviously. It wouldn't have made a difference. I played Joe Mixon in fantasy, so we'll talk about that here soon. And then one thing I want to quickly say, I forgot to say, but between the game picks last week, Dustin, I don't know if you saw, but you had another atrocious week. You went 5-8 on picking games. Jared and I both went 10-3. So, Dustin, we need to get it together on that department. But next game, Dolphins versus Bears. We know how good the Dolphins are. I mean, Waddle, Tyreek Hill's leading the league in receiving yards by like a mile. But Justin Fields, man, he's starting to get it together. We were talking kind of that smack.
We were talking smack on him. I mean, not just him. We were talking crap on Trevor Lawrence that came out of the same draft, Zach Wilson. We've been talking crap on all of them.
Yeah, all of them were up this week. All of them. I mean, they all won. Or yeah, I think they all won.
Yeah, they all did win.
Shout out to that draft class. Obviously missing Trey Lance, but the 49ers were on a bye week, so it didn't matter. But Justin Fields went out for 42 fantasy points. Threw like 3 touchdowns, rushed for a touchdown. What a great game out of Justin Fields. I actually picked him up in fantasy. I did not start him this week. I had Lamar Jackson. I could have started Fields, but like I said, it wouldn't have made a difference. But the Dolphins with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, now they have Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert. Well, they already had Raheem Mostert. They got Jeff Wilson, who was heavily involved this week already because he already knew the offense under Mike McDaniel. The Dolphins continue to be scary since Tua has been back. Tua has honestly been amazing, and we got to give Tua credit, man. He's been awesome.
Yeah, he's been
a lot
really
of people were
good for this
talking
team.
crap on him before the season started, and he's been amazing. He's been a really good quarterback, and he's got Tyreek Hill playing great. Like I said, he's leading the league in receiving yards by like a mile.
I feel like this is some of the best I've seen Tyreek Hill play too. Like
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, this feels exactly like Tyreek Hill in Kansas City almost, but maybe even better if you can make that argument. I mean, like I said. But the next game, Panthers versus the Bengals.
Oh my God, this game.
Dustin, you picked the Panthers in this
Yeah,
one.
I'm done choosing them. I was high on them all season. I kept on trying to ride the train, but this train crashed. It crashed like 5 weeks ago, but I was still riding it.
In your defense, PJ Walker looked great like the last 2 weeks for them. So you thought, hey, maybe they come in, upset the Bengals.
Especially with how the Bengals looked last week, too, because they played like shit without Jamar Chase. So.
Exactly. So I understood the philosophy and your thought process, but no, didn't work out for you. PJ Walker got benched. Baker Mayfield came in, and they said PJ Walker is still going to be starting on Thursday Night Football.
Which is crazy to me. I don't know. I mean, their quarterback situation just fucked anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter which way you go.
But if you play Joe Mixon in fantasy, that was absolutely painful, man. So he got a touchdown to start things off. Since my Commanders disappoint me, I really care about my fantasy team, trying to like make up for it with my fantasy team. And obviously, did not work out for me. Joe Mixon drops 5 touchdowns on my head. It's just like I saw some tweets about, people were saying, imagine being a guy that was looking at his lineup all week just to have Joe Mixon drop 5 fucking touchdowns on your head. That guy was me. So I was like, yes, I'm going to fucking win this week. We got Barkley on a bye week on the other team. But nope, didn't matter. Joe Mixon ruined my dreams. My team played like shit anyway, other than like Waddle and Ramondre Stevenson. And even them didn't have that great of games. So really sucked, but it is what it is. Fantasy, we down bad. Commies down bad. It's just how it is right now for me. But next game, man, there are some fans that are, down horrendous. Maybe even worse than both of us, because for us, we're kind of used to being poverty sometimes. Like Raiders and Commanders fans, we know how it feels to suck. The Packers, on the other hand, Packers fans have been spoiled with playoff success. Maybe not, getting to the Super Bowl, but they still make it there, which I'll take each and every year over than what I've seen before as a Commanders fan. But the Lions beat the Packers in Detroit. Aaron Rodgers looked horrible through 3 red zone interceptions in this game. DeAndre Swift was limited in the Lions. This was just an ugly, grinded out kind of game. Aiden Hutchinson had an interception. That man continues to be a stud. But Aaron Rodgers, not a great game at all. And Packers fans are calling for Jordan Love to start.
Hey, maybe my bet that Derek Carr's better than Rodgers is paying off. They're both ass.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. How much is that worth? I forget.
I think it's 15. That means Kyler have. Both quarterbacks are playing like shit, so it doesn't matter. But
well, you at least have a chance. I like that for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because before the season started, when you made that bet, I was like, I don't know if I like that bet, but hey, man, might work out.
And let me just say something. We'll get into it on the next game about what I gotta say about the Raiders. But Packers season, you guys are over. I don't know how the fuck y'all lose to the Lions, and just give up.
Yeah, the Lions just traded T.J. Hawkinson.
Their best player, probably.
I will say, though, one thing that did suck for Packers fans, I almost forgot to mention, is they had hella injuries. Hella people went down in this game. Aaron Jones went down. Romeo Dubs, however you say his damn name, went down. Rashawn Gary is out for the season now. Like, a lot of injuries for the Green Bay Packers. They already didn't have Devondre Campbell in this game. So that's unfortunate for Green Bay. It's just, insult to injury at this point. So it really sucks for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But unfortunately, they lose. They go to 3-6 on the season, which just is not ideal for how they wanted to start. Do you see any world where the Packers, maybe still make the playoffs?
The NFC is so weak.
Yeah, it's still wide open.
Yeah,
so.
they can easily still make it. I'm not gonna say it's definitely not locked in like I thought it would be at the beginning of the season, but
yeah, it's like everything we know about the NFC is a fucking lie. Like the Bucks and Rams look horrible too. Like we thought those two teams were really damn good, but we'll talk about their game here soon. It was fucking ugly.
It's crazy that the best team in the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks.
I know, in the NFC West, that is crazy. No one would have predicted that after they traded Russell Wilson.
I bet the whole NFC. I'm just kidding.
Oh, the whole NFC? Well, you got the Eagles, but yeah, them being up there is definitely surprising. Raiders at Jaguars. Dustin, the Raiders at one point were up 17-0. They continue to blow big leads. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know if it's Josh McDaniels. I don't know.
Fire Josh McDaniels. Fire Josh McDaniels. Fire Derek Carr. Just tanking. Draft a quarterback. Try to get a quarterback because Derek Carr ain't it. Josh McDaniels offensive play calling ain't it. I don't know what we were winning games when we get Jacobs involved. We don't get Jacobs involved. We just lose. These last 2 games, Jacobs really hasn't done shit like fantasy wise or like stat wise, and you can just tell because we're fucking losing every game. So Jacobs had to see him on his back. He's not doing good. The Raiders ain't doing shit. This whole team is just ass. Chandler Jones terrible. Hunter Renfrow re-signing terrible. Darren Waller terrible. Fucking everyone we paid is just fucking terrible.
It really sucks to hear you say this, Dustin, because you've been a long-time Derek Carr truther. You've loved Derek Carr, and now you're just trying to give up on him, I feel like. So, after this performance that we've gotten this year out of them, Devontae Adams had a great game.
I'm not even mad. It's not even that I'm mad about this game. I'm still pissed about the game that we dropped 0 fucking points last week.
Yeah,
So
against the
like,
Saints.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. Travis Etienne, once again, really good for the Jaguars. They traded James Robinson for a reason.
I mean, you start any team, any running back that's going against the Raiders, you fucking start them because they're going.
That's why I'm low key
up.
waiting to see if Jonathan Taylor's gonna be out this week. I still got Deion Jackson stashed on my bench. Might throw him out there. Who knows?
You might have to.
Might have to. But yeah, man. Then they also waived Jonathan Abrams today. So I saw a tweet that the Raiders draft picks through 2019 through 2021 have all, like, the first 3 round picks have all been cut or trade or whatever, or just in trouble. I don't know. You guys don't have him on your roster anymore.
The only one that we still have is Jacobs, and we didn't even extend his option. So
this is crazy to think about that many draft picks.
Bro, it's because of fucking how shitty they did.
Mike Mayock was fucking terrible. We all thought that was a great hire, and he was fucking
like, bro, like no cap. Oh my god, what's our GM's name? I can't think of it.
I couldn't tell you.
Bro, Mike McDaniels. What's his? I can't remember his name. I want to keep him low key. Oh, Dave Ziegler.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Dave Ziegler. I want to keep him, but I want to get rid of Josh McDaniels. I'm sorry, his head coach term in Broncos did not look good. He's came here. The offenses looked 10 times worse than Rich Pistachio when he was out there. The team just was way better, and I just don't want Josh McDaniels' shitty play calling anymore on this team. But I know we're stuck with them, so fuck me.
All right, next game, Colts versus the Patriots. I mean, there's more to talk about off the field after this game because Sam Ehlinger and the Colts didn't do shit. It was 3-26. Bill Belichick, as we know, is pretty damn good against younger quarterbacks. He always finds a way to give them trouble. Other than, I already mentioned it, Justin Fields had a great game against them. But yeah, they only put up 3 points. I'm so glad I didn't start Deion Jackson fantasy. Like I said, it still didn't fucking matter anyway, so I don't know why I keep saying that. I don't know why I keep going back to that. But the Patriots win 26-3, and then the Colts immediately fired Frank Reich after being like 40. He was above 500, like 40-33 or something like that. So he's done a decent job in Indy. But obviously, they needed to move on, and it's probably better. I bet Frank Reich bounces back immediately, gets a good offensive coordinator job or something somewhere. So not really worried about his future. But the weirdest, bizarre part is, like, usually, I think you've gone through this, right? When you guys, John Gruden walked away, you usually hire someone to be your interim head coach in-house, right? That's what you do. When Jay Gruden got fired, we hired Bill, I forget what his last name is, Bill Callahan. We hired him because he was in-house. But no, the Colts decided to hire Jeff Saturday, their former Pro Bowl center, who is apparently like a consultant for the team. He was a high school football coach, and I thought I saw that he went 3-7 in his last year as a high school football coach. So I don't really know what to expect out of that situation. Like I said, you usually hire like usually go with your defensive coordinator that was there or your offensive coordinator, but they hired Jeff Saturday, which is just so weird. I mean, there's really not much to say. We don't know anything how he's going to look as an NFL coach. He has no NFL coaching experience whatsoever.
I just don't like that as a Colts fan. I wouldn't be. I mean, like, I get your season's not looking very good anyways. The Titans already have a pretty good lead on you guys now, and I mean, the AFC's just tough. I mean, the top teams are just doing good and doing their thing. So I think that they kind of just give up on the season. Maybe they just bring him in, say fuck it, see how you do. And then,
yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know why else you do that. Yeah. It's just kind of bizarre, but we'll see how it goes.
Maybe they're just doing it for clout, like just for clout.
I mean, Jim Irsay is. I mean, I hated him at first because all the shit he talked to Carson Wentz, but he was the one that came out and said that Dan Snyder needed to be removed. Like, he kind of led the charge, and Dan Snyder's officially about to sell the team, which is freaking awesome. Commanders owner, by the way, if you don't know who Dan Snyder is. But the next game, this one was probably the upset of the week, man. Jets versus the Bills. I mean, the Bills came in. Josh Allen played like shit. There's nothing else to say. Threw terrible interceptions. Sauce Gardner, we thought maybe this would be the week he finally comes back to earth. The first play of the game, he did allow Diggs get kind of over the top on him, but after that, he played great. He played phenomenal. Sauce Gardner had an interception in this game as well. He keeps balling. Zach Wilson made the throws he needed to. And the defense was really good for the Jets, man. They held the Bills to 17 points, which isn't easy to do.
No, definitely not. I will admit I didn't watch much of this game because the way that Brady's basement was set up, I was at the very corner of the room. It was across. But when I did watch it, I didn't really see any crazy, amazing plays from Josh Allen when I was watching. So I don't really have much to say, but I guess good win for the Jets. I was telling you how they were just telling Zach Wilson to keep on slinging it and doing his thing. the Jets haven't given up on him, and I mean, as long as they haven't given up on him, I can still see them doing something this season. And they have a decent record right now as well. So
yeah, 6-3 on their division's really good though.
Yeah,
so, like that AFC East division is awesome so far, to be honest with you. So we'll see how that shakes out in the AFC. But yeah, Robert Saleh, man, he's been a great head coach for the Jets. He's got them playing good football. I think the Jets are pretty talented, but I don't know if you say they're like the most talented roster in the world. Elijah Moore still isn't involved. Denzel Mims, who actually requested a trade before the season started, was actually way more involved than Elijah Moore. So I feel like they should have just traded Elijah Moore at the trade deadline, because they're not even using him now. So it's just kind of awkward, I feel like.
I feel like they have too many receivers anyways. I'm not saying that Elijah Moore isn't a hidden talent, because he definitely could be. But you can already tell that he's unhappy with the team and all that. So I just don't think you see his potential as long as he's here after everything he's already been through. So I don't know why. I mean, like, maybe, yeah, you wouldn't have gotten much for him, but at least getting something.
I think you would have, though. I mean, he's on a rookie contract, and he played great his rookie season. So I don't understand. I mean, Corey Davis didn't even play this game, which is even more concerning for Elijah Moore, because he wasn't involved with Corey Davis out. Garrett Wilson and Denzel Mims were kind of the two guys out there. So, but the next game, this one was a heartbreaking for me, honestly, man. Vikings versus Commanders. This game was crazy. I was watching it with my good friend Rick, who is a Vikings fan, and Taylor Heineke had us up 17-7 in the fourth quarter. And, just Ron Rivera just being a total fucking idiot, man. Just challenging a play that gets us 1 fucking yard, costing us a timeout. Taylor Heineke threw one of the worst fucking touchdowns I've ever seen. Okay, so we have triple coverage. I'm sure most of you have seen this play, but if you have not seen the play, you need to go watch it. Ricardo was so pissed. If I was in his position, I would have been pissed as well. Heineke throws it into triple coverage, but we got the ref downfield with the lead block to take out the safety, who would have definitely probably either broke up the pass or intercepted it, and Curtis Samuel catches it for a touchdown. Most bizarre touchdown I've ever seen. I'm surprised they don't do anything about this, because the ref literally took that safety down and literally just gave Heineke a touchdown, because that would not have been a touchdown if that ref was not in the way. So like I said, we were up 17-7, and then Ron Rivera just getting out coached. Offense coordinator's fucking terrible. We have John Ridgeway, which was a guy we picked up through fucking waivers, and he gets a penalty on the field goal attempt, which gives the Vikings ball back. And that's pretty much all she wrote. And then Heineke threw a terrible interception when he had 2 guys wide open. I love Heineke, but that is why he's a backup, man, because there was 2 guys who were wide open on the left and the right side. He decides to throw it to Logan Thomas. He sails the ball and gives the Vikings energy to get back in the game. Dustin, the Vikings are 7-1. You've been doubting them. You picked the Commanders this week. No, you didn't. No, I'm just kidding. You did it. But how do you feel about the Vikings?
They're still ass, but let's move on.
You see Kirk Cousins with the ice in the plane? I mean, yeah. Shout out to the Vikings, man. 7-1. Commanders, man.
Okay, I was kidding. They're not ass. I give them the respect, but I don't know if they're the best team in the NFC. I mean, they're definitely in conversation for how every team's playing right now. They're definitely top 3, right?
Oh, for sure. And next week they get the Bills, I think. So that'll be ultimate test. They come out here.
Yeah, I mean, you see what the Jets did to them, so anything can happen in that game now.
I feel like you get a pissed off Jets team. Although Josh Allen might be hurt. I'm not really.
You mean Bills team?
Oh, yeah. No, the Jet or the Vikings get a pissed off Bills team that just lost. But then Josh Allen also got kind of injured in the Jets game, which I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he was
with an
injured
elbow injury or something like that.
Wasn't it early in the game too?
Yeah, he got hit in his elbow early in the game. Something like that, but we'll see what happens there. I'm assuming he'll play. And then your next game, Seahawks at Arizona.
This was a good game.
Yeah, it was. Geno Smith threw a pick 6 in this game at one point, but man, he bounced back. Geno Smith has got the Seahawks 6-3, playing great football, spreading the wealth around. He's got Noah Fant involved. He's got DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett throwing touchdowns to them. I'm impressed, man.
Yeah,
Geno
definitely.
Smith has proven himself, and it kind of reminds me of when Ryan Tannehill kind of reinvented himself. He was a nobody, or not really a nobody, but he was benched. Obviously, he went to Tennessee as a backup to back up Marcus Mariota, and then Mariota eventually got benched, and Tannehill, earned himself a contract, and he's been the starter for the Titans ever since. This reminds me of that situation where Geno Smith has been fantastic, and he's probably going to be paid to be their quarterback. I don't even know what his contract looks like right now, but I assume
it's cheap as heck.
I assume it's cheap as hell because he's a backup. I don't know how many years he has left his contract, but if there's only 1 year left on it, he's going to get paid this offseason. I need to definitely research that because I don't know.
I remember week 1, even after they beat the Broncos, we were still oh, yeah, it's still Geno Smith. He ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. We were
Broncos.
It's just Geno Smith.
Look at Geno Smith. I've been picking him every week.
He's been fucking
except
balling,
for this
man.
week. I chose the Cardinals for an idiot. But
You chose the Seahawks at first, and then you changed it.
Yeah.
You should have stuck with the Seattle Seahawks, man. But yeah, man, shout out Arizona. D-Hop didn't have that great of a game. I think he had a touchdown called back. But yeah, Dustin was playing him in fantasy, and their game was really close. So if Hopkins had a good game,
we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about my fantasy game going into Monday night.
Oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, because that was when it was really close. But yeah, man, Cardinals they're 3-6. I think a lot of Cardinals fans are over Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach. We'll see what happens. Hopkins and Murray fought on the sideline for a second as well, but next game,
it seems like Murray's always fighting with somebody.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. Yeah. And then they literally traded for Robbie Anderson. It's not like they give up a lot, but they don't even fucking use him. So I don't even see the point of
the one throw I did see them throw to him, he literally dropped a wide open, like Brady, wide open dropped that thing. I was like,
next game though, Rams versus Bucks. This game was ugly, man. The Bucks and the Rams just both look fucking terrible, man. The Bucks like literally had so I just remember the end of this game because most of the game was just fucking ugly. So Tom Brady, I believe if I'm not mistaken, had Scotty Miller wide open for the touchdown on the 4th down to take the lead back, and then he doesn't catch it. He drops it. Wide fucking open. Just drops it. So then the Rams get it back. They run the ball 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, and then they don't get the first down, so they punt it back to Tom Brady with a little bit of time left in the clock. Tom Brady drives downfield, and they win. Rams look atrocious. The Bucks don't look much better. It's 13-16. This game was ugly. I mean, we're just kind of waiting for the point one of these two teams turn around, or both of them, because the Rams just won a damn Super Bowl. I don't know what's going on entirely. Buccaneers, kind of the same thing. They were in the contention, obviously. Tom Brady still got the weapons around him. Don't know what's going on.
But did you hear that the only reason he didn't retire? So I saw a rumor that said the only reason he didn't retire is so that the divorce wouldn't take his new money away from the Falcons or whatever, or whoever gave it to him. Because he has like a $350 million contract after football, like to be like.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so
you think that's the only reason why?
Someone said that.
It would be funny if that was the only reason he went and played football.
Came back, dude.
I mean, I guess he has 350 million reasons why, so maybe not. Next game though, like I said, not much to say about that Bucks and Rams game. They just both don't look impressive to me so far.
Definitely not.
Which is why the NFC is kind of wide open right now.
Yeah, because beginning of the season, you would think that the Bucks and Rams and like obviously I was high on the Eagles, but not everyone thought they were gonna be as good as they were. But those 3 teams I thought were gonna for sure be the front runners, and then I mean obviously the Eagles are a front runner, but other than that, the Bucks and Rams have both looked like shit.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have told you that the Commanders would have a better record than the Rams in Week 9, what would you think? No one would have fucking believed you. But next game, Titans versus Chiefs. This actually was a really good game.
Yes, it was.
The unfortunate part for the Titans, though, is just they didn't have enough firepower, man. Malik Willis just didn't. He's not really a guy you're relying on just yet. Maybe later down the line he is. Derrick Henry killed the Chiefs on the ground. He had a great game rushing. The defense for the Titans was playing phenomenal, man. They had the Chiefs going... No, 7 straight drives for the Chiefs with no scoring, which is not easy to do against a Chiefs team with Mahomes and Kelsey. But the Titans defense was playing phenomenal, and Arrowhead on top of that. But Malik Willis just really couldn't get anything to go through. Obviously they don't have a lot of weapons on the outside. Not a single wide receiver got a target in this game, I think. Or maybe it changed on the line, but for the first 3 or 4 quarters, or first 3 quarters, because this went to overtime. Robert Woods, none of them, Westbrook and Keene, or however you say his damn name, none of them even had targets. So a lot of people were saying, man, this team is just an A.J. Brown away from being good. And obviously they traded A.J. Brown. I will always go back to that, man. I think trading A.J. Brown was the worst thing this team could have done. Because look at the Eagles now. But regardless, the Chiefs, eventually, Mahomes finally got together. He had a great drive. He rushes in for a touchdown. There was a 3rd and 20 or something like that where he scrambled all the way for the first down. Mahomes just makes shit happen, man.
Dude, I'm sorry the Titans should not have thrown that game. That shit pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, they had that shit in the bag. It's just kind of reminds me of the Commanders and Vikings game where the Titans kind of had that shit. They just kept stopping. And, back to Commanders, they were playing good defense as well against the Vikings the whole game. So, just these 2 teams you wouldn't expect to win against these really good teams. Their defense stepped up, played big time, but the offense just couldn't do shit. So, it's kind of the same thing, other than obviously the Titans have Derrick Henry. Regardless, man, unfortunate for the Titans. They had this one, but they'll bounce back whoever they play against. And Ryan Tannehill didn't play, so that sucked as well. Not sure if he would have made a huge difference. Probably would have. I would assume he's better than Malik Willis at this point, but we'll see down the line. The next game, Ravens versus Saints. I'm not going to lie to you. I was watching my Blazers at the same time as this game, so it was kind of tough for me to pay attention for the most part.
I was in and out of this game, I'll be honest.
Yeah, so that's why I wish we had Jared to carry the load today for this one. Lamar Jackson didn't have a spectacular game, at least for me in fantasy. Not that it fucking mattered. I'll keep saying that. But the Saints couldn't get anything going at first. Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, they were just all bottled up. The Ravens kept getting, I believe, didn't Andy Dalton throw a couple interceptions? Or
Yeah, probably.
I can't fucking remember, honestly. Like I said, I was in and out of this game. But the Ravens came out and win. Roquan Smith had a great debut. Deshaun Jackson got hurt already, calf injury.
Oh,
I mean,
what a surprise.
Dude is made of fucking glass, man. I love Deshaun Jackson. I loved him when he was in Washington. He was awesome, but man, he just can't stay healthy. And that was the big acquisition for the Ravens for their wide receiver room. So Lamar still doesn't have much weapons. Mark Andrews was gone.
Bateman was gone too.
Bateman's gone. He has Isaiah Likely out there, who's a pretty good tight end, but he's still a rookie. So, I mean,
Actually, I have to say, going into this fantasy game,
this is Dustin's fantasy.
I literally,
right here.
I was up 1 point against the person I was playing against. All he had left to play was Kenyon Drake. I had Alvin Kamara, Will Lutz, and Isaiah Likely, okay? I win 96-60 to like 95 or something like that. I literally won by a point. How the heck do I have Alvin Kamara? How do I have 3 players up by 1 point and I only win by 1 point? Barely?
Isaiah Likely had 1 catch all game, but it was for the touchdown.
Yeah,
so if it wasn't for that touchdown, you fucking lose, Dustin.
That would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, because at one point I was like keeping tabs on it because you were up 13 yards and the Ravens were kind of running out the clock. So if Kenyon Drake would have ran for like 14 or 13 yards, you would have been fucked. But then he got tackled for a loss. So I was like, oh, Dustin's fine now. Because then it was 4th down, so they punted it back to the Saints. So you were saved after that. But that is our Week 9 recap of the NFL, man. A lot of fun. Obviously, like I said, not so much fun for me in fantasy or being a Commanders fan, and then Dustin for a Raiders fan. But at least fantasy's going well for him. Maybe I can bounce back this next week. We still hella miss Jared. Hopefully,
and these weeks have just been crazy. Like the teams that you think would be dominating are just losing. Like, I mean, you didn't expect the Bills to lose this week. The Packers even. I mean, just all these teams are just losing that you just would never expect.
Yep, got to pick the upsets, I guess. Shout out to the
definitely.
Jets for an upset. I mean, really, really good week of football. Other than just me being down bad. Regardless, hopefully Jared is back next week. This is In the Slant. We are saying peace.